Well, hello there, Sister Wives watchers and Chick Chatters. We are back with Sister Wives episode 4 and another small Kody's Corner, which I take it you probably didn't watch the episode this morning.
No, but I did hear he wasn't featured again very heavily.
More so than last week, I think, but still not a lot. But there actually was quite an interesting episode this week. I think this was the most interesting episode so far. In the beginning, they did have to pick somebody out who they all thought wasn't a good leader or they wouldn't trust in a leader role or whatever it is. Yeah, and they did choose somebody. It wasn't Kody, but then they did a challenge after that about being leaders. And sorry, I'm so bright. The sun is in the room with me. Don't know how to get rid of it, so I'm sorry. It should get better. And Kody did become the leader of his little team, but they did do teams versus each other doing a challenge. He did not win that competition, but while he was in that competition, he talked about how he is the loud and obnoxious type and not the strong, silent type. He was yelling at these girls that he was paired with.
Very self-aware.
He's trying to motivate them, but in motivating them, they're just kind of back at him like, stop!
Is it the Judice girl?
Oh, no, it wasn't her. It was 2 other girls. It was him and 2 girls. He said that he didn't consider himself a great leader as he was being chosen to be a leader in his group.
Well, did somebody give him a dose of self-awareness? Is that the bag of pills that he's been rumored to been carrying around on the show? Is it a dose of self-awareness?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's funny because he was the leader of a whole 20-something person family for decades.
He was a complete failure of a leader almost in every single year. I mean, we all look back romantically on the first couple of seasons, myself included, and he was a great father at that time and maybe a better husband, I'm sure, than he was at the end, but he's never been a leader. Like, it was always chaos with the like, remember even back then when they would try to go on these vacations and it would take an entire day to get these people in the car. They'd be like, oh, we're gonna leave at 10 o'clock in the morning, and then there'd be the clock flashing, they'd leave at 3 p.m. and get 7 flat tires on the way.
He was really bad about organization and certain leadership skills. Yeah, he was just very chaotic in himself. So when you're already a chaotic person,
actually comes up with episode 2 on Sister Wives when they're talking about the darters and all of that. So
that's why I thought this was a good little tie together, because he's also making that connection himself in Special Forces, which I think it's funny because I've been seeing a lot of clips of the cast talking about him, and they're like, I don't know, that guy must have been on amphetamines or something, because he was always down to go, doing everything. He never complained about like sore, being this or being that, and he was always just like on the go and doing it. And you see that on the show. You see him doing all the challenges, and he doesn't really complain or fight back or have anything.
Which is why he's really not featured, because he's just like little soldier boy.
And he looks like a damn, he looks like a damn beast right now.
I know, he's ripped.
Yeah. It's crazy. So he could be on some, people were thinking he was on something. I don't know. It's funny because in the comments, I saw people saying Adderall, but I'm like, I have ADHD and I take, Ritalin, not now because I'm pregnant, but when I'm on Ritalin or whatever, I couldn't be climbing mountains and doing all the crap he's doing on Special Forces. My heart would explode. So I don't know what he's doing.
Right. That's a good, stimulant. I know people take supplements and stuff to work out. So,
like pre-workout.
But I did see some people talking about Kody carrying around this baggie, what he called like vitamins and supplements, but basically a baggie of pills, essentially. I heard them talking about like he doing something nefarious. I doubt it, because when production I feel like these are pretty tight production sets.
Yeah, I feel like that would be cheating in a way if they were
in a big way. Yeah, I mean, maybe steroids. I know there's been some rumors about that as well, especially considering his current physique. But I guess he said that he was training for this beforehand, and that he was running up like all the mountains in Flagstaff pretty much.
Which there are quite a bit of mountains in Flagstaff.
There's a lot of places to do that.
I don't put it past him. And honestly, if that's how he was training, and when you see him run up the mountains and stuff at Special Forces, he really doesn't have a problem with that.
I haven't even seen Kody like gassed out. The only time they really featured him was when he hesitated for a minute on that bridge so far. And he said something about pretend I'm your wife, but he got right through that. I think that the only reason that was featured is because they thought it was funny.
So he does say that he's known for his intense personality in the confessional, which we're like, yeah. And he struggled to listen to his team, and he kept saying, let's go, blah, blah, but he really just wasn't motivating anybody very good. So he did lose that challenge. He also lost the second challenge because they did one where they have to fall at the same time, and it has to be like the exact same time. And he lost that one too. They showed it like one of those montagey things again. The whole episode was about teamwork and stuff, and we all know Kody's really bad at teamwork. And
so he failed both things.
Pretty much. And then there was this whole scandal about a candy box So a box of candy was found in the place where they eat and stuff. And one girl was like, we shouldn't touch that because it could be the trick or whatever. And this other guy was like, no, I think they're just rewarding us for us doing such a good job today. And he brought it out to all the other cast members, and everyone started eating from this box. They did show Kody eat like the smallest little candy bar, but everybody but the lady that said, I don't think we should touch that, touched it. And the whole box of candy was gone. When he went to go put it back into the cafeteria room, he realized that there was a label on the box that was for a different room, like CO room or something like that. So he started freaking out, like, oh, I wasn't supposed to do that. So then he went back to the group and was like, oh, I messed up, guys.
What?
Yeah, and it was before the second challenge, so everybody I think was on edge, because then right after he does this, the guys come back and they're like, all right, time to go to this challenge or whatever. And nobody said anything. And in fact, it's the same guy that they pull for an interrogation later. And I thought he was going to out himself at the interrogation, but he didn't. And then, yeah, they eventually all get punished for the candy at the end of the episode, except for the girl that said, I don't think we should touch that. Yeah. Including Kody. Everybody has to dunk their heads in water and everything. And Kody just did it, didn't say anything, whatever. And it was the same girl that in the beginning of the episode, everybody voted was the least trustworthy. So then they flipped it on the cast and they're like, you guys voted her as least trustworthy. Now who do you vote for least trustworthy? Because we're going to put them in a cage. And so she voted for her least trustworthy person, which was the first person to vote for her. And they're like, anybody else who feels like they deserve to be in the cage because of this incident, go on ahead. So Judice girl went in there. And so did the guy who brought out the candy box. And then everybody else threw...
Why did the Judice girl go in there?
I don't know.
She just felt guilty.
Yeah. So those people went in the cage while everybody else threw dirty water on them. I'm not sure what dirty water was, if it was piss or what, but it was disgusting water, including Cody's got to throw some water on the people. So yeah, it was quite an interesting
They're really
episode.
stepping it up this season in terms of all of this punishment. I don't remember there being this much punishment in the last couple of seasons. They do get punished for failing things and doing things, but I don't know. Do you think that was a setup the whole time, the candy bar? Like,
I don't think they intentionally set them up. I think that's why they were so mad about it. And nobody came clean about it either, which also pissed them off. So I think whoever was stocking these things just set it down and went somewhere. And when they came back, it was all gone. But they couldn't tell them till after they got back from the challenge because it was literally all happening at once. So I don't think it was on purpose, but I originally thought it was on purpose until I realized that there had been quite a bit of time after the second challenge where the leaders didn't know still that it happened.
Right.
And if it was a setup, I feel like when they came back, they would have did something then. But instead, they just pulled these people out in the middle of the night. Yeah. And punish them.
Where are my Kit Kats?
Pretty much. I mean, it was like Kit Kats, Snickers, Reese's, all types of candy in there. And I was sitting there thinking, why does all this candy need to be there anyway? But and why would you think that this was a treat for you guys when nobody gave it to you?
No, that definitely was a poor judgment call on that guy's behalf.
Oh yeah, and he felt like an ass, but I'm surprised everybody went to that second challenge and nobody cracked because they were all talking about it in the cars on the way up.
Right. Well, I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to spoil too much, but Kody was a part of all of it.
No, it's okay. I don't get too worried about it being spoiled. It's kind of a background show when I make dinner, to be honest. So I don't mind too much.
Yeah. So Kody again has made it through another week, and I think he will continue to. We did lose 2 people in the beginning just because they're like, listen, if y'all can't handle it, then leave. And then 2 people left. I don't think Cody's ever going to volunteer to go, honestly.
No, I don't think he is either.
He's got too much to prove to himself.
He has too much to prove to himself. And I just feel more and more suspicious that things are rocky between him and Robyn. So I don't think anything would make him go back home at this point, especially empty-handed. And this rumor came in some YouTube comment. So I could not tell you how valid this is, and I have not yet looked it up. I'm just out here spreading rumors. But I heard a rumor that people on that show, which I did not know this because there's no prize at the end. I knew that they would get paid for their time, but I thought it would be more of a basic number. But I heard a rumor on a YouTube comment, don't know how valid it is, that they get paid anywhere between $100,000 and $500,000, depending on how famous they are. That can't be true, right?
That's a lot of money.
That's a ton of money. They have maybe 12 or 15 people on the show, or they start off with 15, right?
Yeah, and if you pay all those people all that money, I mean, not all of them
Even
are really that
all
famous.
$100,000. That's over $1 million budget just for casting. I don't think Special Forces is that big of
I
a
could see
budget
like
show.
50,000, and then if you make it further, you get a little more.
Sure, I could see that too. That's what I was thinking, that they'd get somewhere between like 20 and 60K.
But then you're looking at Juicy Smoothie making 500,000 because he's obviously was the most famous person on that season.
Right. And then Kody was a notable human on this. There are
Yeah.
people watching that season that have never watched Special Forces before because of Kody.
He is on the poster. So is Juicy Smoothie.
Whoever's on that poster is going to be getting the most money for sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I wonder, drop comments if anyone has any idea or cared to do any more research than I did before I just came and spread all those rumors around. But I thought that was kind of crazy to hear. I wanted to know your opinion. I think that's too much money. That can't be true.
Yeah. Well, and also, if you guys know how much they're even making on Sister Wives, because I don't remember the figure that they're making on Sister Wives, but if that's true about the Special Forces, then he didn't even need to do the next season of Sister Wives.
True. I remember hearing a number. I can't even remember what it was, so I won't say it. But I remember it being pretty high that they were getting paid per episode for this season that's airing right now. And then speaking of that, there is rumors coming straight from Christine's mouth on a podcast interview that they're filming season 21. I know TLC would still have to pick it up, and so it probably depends on viewers, but it doesn't seem like they're dropping off too much in viewership right now. So it seems like we are signed up for season 21. I know there's been a lot of rumors about some of the OG wives quitting, but at least Christine right now is saying that she's filming. So we'll see.
We'll see. Right now, they have to pay them all separately because before they all paid the family in a family LLC. Yeah. So, I bet now they have to pay a little bit more because they have to pay them all separately.
And their production is going to be astronomically more because they're in 4 different states, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
I don't know how much longer it's going to go on, but apparently it's going to go on for at least one more season. I feel like with a show this big, there has to be sort of like a final season or something. It has to be marketed that way. So I don't know if this is going to be it, 21. I mean, gosh, are they going to go to season 25, 24, 30? Are we going to be in a nursing home watching these people like pass away?
Possible. I really thought that this would be the last season because really what else is there to film after Coyote Pass is said and done?
And there's been so much stir online about Jenelle quitting the show and Christine quitting the show and Meri moving on with her financial world and her worthy up and all of that kind of stuff. Like it just seemed like a natural place to close the chapter. We're going to tie up Coyote Pass this season. So it seemed like a normal place to go. Although I have enjoyed seeing the kids and their kids this season a little bit more now that the kids are adults. And seeing just what their lives and their sibling dynamics are like. I do enjoy seeing siblings together and interacting. I'm hoping that that's what we're going to get more of is each of their individual lives, but it's not that entertaining.
It's not at all.
I only care because I'm emotionally invested and I'm a nosy person by nature, but I'm not that entertained.
We are not entertained. Let us know if you're entertained because we are not very entertained. I do think part of why Kody's doing Special Forces is so he can go home to Robyn so that she can smell his pheromones. And
so he can peacock for her. Isn't the show just a whole peacock for Robyn? I was sitting on this couch right here, noticing how every time I see Kody, it's just a flash. Like I would have to literally pause it in order to really get a good look at his face. That's how little they've been showing Kody. And I'm like, imagine Kody Brown, who is so full of himself, getting ready every week with his wife to peacock for her on television, and they show nothing. I'm like, this is the universe getting back at you.
You're talking about Special Forces, right? Because they show him a lot on Sister Wives.
Yes.
In fact, they show him at times where it's not even necessary.
And he doesn't want to watch himself on Sister Wives.
Yeah. Anyways, let's get into Sister Wives.
Let's get into Sister Wives.
We are going to start off with Meri going into Jen's bike shop to talk about boys. Jen is giving her some advice or whatever, saying yes and no to all these guys and stuff. Jen's a little too into Meri's dating life, I think. I like Jen, but she's very into what Meri's doing. They're kind of like codependent.
Yeah, I mean, and especially now that they're showing us these joint confessionals, it's almost like production is setting them up to be two together. And I like Jen too. I think she's a great friend, and I think she is being very opinionated. But it's also all Meri is filming about too. So I think it makes their friendship one-dimensional, and I hope it doesn't stay that way because I do think they're good friends and they are fun to watch. But it's not fun to watch them talk about dating, sit over a phone, and scroll about men.
Yeah, they don't even show us the right things when they're going through these apps. And they're showing the guy with the thing that says kiss the COCK, and they have it still zoomed on that as they're like, oh, he's got nice hair and nice. They're like, we don't see any of that. We just see this damn apron.
I know, and I'm sorry, but to me, I would not choose that, and that made Jen all kinds of excited. You have to pick him. I think that was sarcastic, but I mean, obviously, they have different ideas about dating, and that got brought up in this episode as well. You know, Jen is comparing how she was raised and how she looks at dating compared to how Meri does, and I think it is nice that Jen is helping Meri because she does have to date. That's not something that she is used to or really obviously knows how to do or even has probably seen many people do. So I think it's nice that she has somebody encouraging her and pushing her, but I'm over it. It's episode 4 now, and we're still talking about Meri's effing dating preferences. How many times do we need to talk about how tall a man is supposed to be? And then Meri's like, oh, well, actually, he doesn't even have to be tall, just if he has kind eyes and he's nice. So then why are we talking about it?
I know, it was getting ridiculous. And they go all around to all the sister wives and ask them about dating apps. And of course, Robyn's like, well, I don't think that could work. Isn't it just for hooking up? And then Jenelle's like, I'm not dating. Everyone wants me to date. So it's just more regular pushback. Christine talks about her experience a little bit and said that there's a lot of poly couples on there, which if y'all watch Seeking Sister Wives, they do use a lot of dating apps to get their ladies. So
yeah, that is, I think, how a lot of poly relationships are established. But I mean, I've never been on a dating app, thank the heavens, but isn't that like a thing you turn on and off, right? It's not like you enter a dating site looking for a monogamous relationship and you are inundated by poly people, right? Like you would say you're looking for a poly relationship. Isn't that
in your bio, maybe? No, I don't think so. Like it's usually like men or women or both. Or you put in your bio that, you know, I'm looking for this, you know, from when I was on dating apps, which has been a few years. So, I mean, I'm not as completely up to date. And just like the regular dating apps, like I'm sure there's ones where you can do that. But on the ones that I've always been on, there wasn't like a option for poly or whatever. Like people would have it in their profiles and be like, I'm
were probably going on like Plenty of Fish and things where monogamous people go to look
Tinder or whatever. I mean, like a lot of those apps though are still used for the opposite too. It's just usually people would have that stuff in their bios, like I'm actually married or I'm whatever, and we're just looking for a third, or I'm in an open relationship or whatever it was. So those would be in people's bios. But I mean, things could have evolved and changed at this point, or maybe some apps are different. Let us know, chick chat in the comments if you have any experience with this. But I thought that was kind of funny.
I am like an old lady when it comes to dating. Like I know probably as much as Jenelle knows.
But Seeking Sister Wives, that's how they always find their people. And honestly, if y'all have been watching Seeking Sister Wives, it is so damn interesting. I don't know. If y'all want me to talk about that every now and then, I might have to come up on here because I'd be just mind blown by these people.
Anne's been sending me some clips. I'm interested. When I find some time, I'll probably catch myself up a little bit too. So maybe we could have a little open discussion on it or something.
Yeah, I've been watching the new season as episodes come out. But I've been going back now and rewatching some of season 5 and season 4 because I know I watched the first couple seasons a while ago. I don't know why I fell off of it because it's so damn entertaining, especially compared to this. Like when we were watching this and then you go watch that the next day, it's like kind of like how you start talking about.
That's why I was kind of dreading the season coming up because even watching Welcome to Plathville, they show a lot more of what's really going on. Whereas the show has always been sort of a highlight reel and very, you know, heavily produced. So
and the same thing all the time.
Right. We get some bonus scene. It's not very content heavy. It's just them basically scrolling through and denying guys for several different reasons, including their name, a whole lot of no's, a whole lot of this isn't going to work. And the little hair scene was funny, but I thought that this was definitely on purpose, right? There's no way she said all this on accident.
Well, you know, Jen's eyes got real wide when Meri started.
They did. They saw her go, okay.
She's like,
well, but I thought that was more of like a, oh, you're really going to go there kind of eyes.
I think like that's probably what she initially thought. And then Meri's like, oh, snap. I didn't even realize what I just said, which it could be a subconscious PTSD moment from Meri. I mean, she was talking about how it's fine if you have long hair, whatever. If you have like long curly hair, you got to do something with it, not just have it look like, ugh.
Which means she actually described her ex-husband, Kody. Maybe they were sort of like setting up a similar thing. Like when Christine was dating, she was looking for a tall guy who was bald, who had tattoos, and basically the opposite of Kody, right? And so I think that this is kind of a similar sort of scene where she's calling him out. But we see in the next episode that, you know, they're going to have this conversation where Jen is pumping Meri up and she's going to be like, and brush your hair. They're going to actually call out his hair. So it makes me question if this was really an accident.
Honestly, I feel like Meri and the wives are part of the problem with Kody's hair. I mean, you've been with this man for 30 years. You could have told him to do something with his hair. You were going to the
I
same damn
swear,
hairstylist as him for quite a few of those years.
the first 10 seasons at least. You could have told his hairdresser what you wanted.
And then I don't remember who taught him how to do the curls. I think it was Robyn or something.
He learned how to use the diffuser or whatever on the blow dryer, and ever since then, yeah, it's been curls or curly chaos. But lately he's done the headband thing. He was doing the rubber bands for a little while, but now I think he has some kind of headband that he's using so that he can get the horn effect to go away. But he just has a skin headband, really, but he's been trying to use a real one.
I just love that every single episode his hair comes up in some way.
How
iconic.
I mean, look at this. Like, look at the forehead on this guy.
So I say this every episode. Go get the hair plugs or whatever. Go to Turkey, get the hair implants. If y'all can
Especially
afford
if they're paying you $100,000 to $500,000 for special forces. I mean, that's probably too high. That's probably not accurate.
Like if you can afford a $2 million house in Flagstaff, you can afford to go to Turkey for like a week. And look at the situation. Like look at his hair. He looks like a damn My Little Pony now. Yeah.
Yeah. So luscious. He's at the Pink Pony Club for sure.
Just take a page out of that book. Go get something done about it. Crazy. Did you see there's a photo going around of somebody photoshopping Kody's hair off of him, and he looks like Stone Cold Steve Austin, the wrestler?
You tagged me in that. Did you see what I said to you?
No.
I said he looks like a penis.
An angry one.
He does. He looks like an angry peen.
Yeah.
And this is kind of giving the same thing. You just have to sort of imagine away this part, but that's what it looks like.
Imagine.
So Kody is moving this episode. They're getting rid of this house in Flagstaff. They're moving over to the other side of town so that they don't have to drive by Coyote Pass anymore, Christine's house anymore. So his brother, Michael, I think is his name, is coming to help him move, and everybody's stinking the place up.
Yep, the graveyard of Sister Wives Pass. They're sick of driving by it all the time. And they have the weird scene with his brother Michael where they're hitting each other with pool noodles, I'm assuming. I don't know what those were.
I think that's like moving packaging, things that you kind of put against flat stuff, but they look like pool noodles.
Cody's just such an awkward man. I can never get over it. And then he's openly flirting with Robyn in front of his brother, which I don't know. I find that all kind of a little weird. And Robyn says that she actually likes it, but she's not going to give him attention when he does it. Doesn't that mean you don't like it? So
usually that's what you do in parenting to reduce the behavior of a child, is that you don't acknowledge it, right? And so I think Robyn is trying to parent her husband into not flirting with her, which I think is sad, because I don't want to see Kody and Robyn flirt, but can't you people just ever be effing happy? OMG.
I know. Kody tries with her. I will give him that.
He is really trying so hard. I will give him that. I mean, he is peacocking to his hardest peacock, but speaking of that, I mean, this is so a mix of Kody and Christine, this man.
Every time I see Peyton, especially in this scene, I'm like, he sounds like Kody. He has the same mannerisms as Kody. It's really strange. In the same way as Kody, like the same cadence. And he looks a lot like Kody. He's basically
even when I saw him and Christine in the kitchen in the scene interacting with each other, I was like, wow, he must kind of be triggering to Christine. I mean, there's just no way. I know that you see your own child, of course, and so you feel that love and stuff, but God, even just the whole, I'm doing this and I'm packing the trailer. And I mean, how many times have we seen Kody talk about packing a trailer? I mean, it's not Peyton's fault, but.
Well, when she asked him about being done in the military, she's like, how do you feel about that? And he's like, relieved. It's the same thing Kody would have said to a T.
I know. And with the dramatics too of Christine, he really is a blend of these two humans.
All kids are, but it's just he's very Kody to me. Of all of the sons, I know a lot of them look like Kody, but I swear he's just a spitting image.
He totally is. Yeah, definitely. They did give us a little bonus scene with Peyton as well, and I wish that they would have not given us this bonus scene. I liked the regular scene better. They cut out the regular scene about Garrison and military and his choice not to go in do the same kind of thing. I guess it took Garrison almost a year to transition from being in the army, I think he was, to the National Guard, and the whole time he probably had to keep showing up and doing all of his applications. So Peyton doesn't want to follow that route.
I think he was always in the National Guard, but I think he got out and then tried going back in.
Yeah, he had like a long transition period, which it seems like Peyton was trying to learn from and avoid, and he wanted to just get out and have everything stop. So that's what he shared in the regular scene. In this scene, he just goes on a little bit more about being, he says, marionetted by Maddie, about the Christian girl thing, which, let's be clear, Mr. Payton, we're talking about Christian women, please. Women. I don't like calling girls when you're talking about dating. It's just like, you're not looking for little girls, you're looking for women.
Hey, at least he's not saying females.
God bless.
We all know how we feel about females.
We all know how we feel about that word, females. So he says that he has been being sort of puppet mastered by Maddie for quite some time, by being lured all kinds of places with Christian girls, quote unquote. So he's following, and now he is going all the way to North Carolina to find Christian girls. He does say that he has been wanting a really big change in his life, and that's where the two scenes divulge again. And what has been tempting him more into accepting this big change is that he has family there as well. So the underlying desire is to be with family, but if Christian girls are involved, that's always a bonus.
He's pretty close with Jenelle too. With Garrison being gone, he lost his best friend. Christine's like, it's not fair. Everyone's leaving me. And now she's just down to Isabel, Truly, and Aspen. But Aspen just had a baby not that long ago. So she does have a new grandbaby.
A grandchild. One. But yeah, we'll get into Christine's anger definitely here. Yeah, I mean, they just talk a little bit more about these men and their ideas about polygamy. Again, I'm done with this scene. Are you done with this scene?
Yeah, I'm very done with this scene. I was excited to see Meri date, but I'm not excited to see her date if she's not going to actually date and she's just going to talk about how to date and what she thinks about dating and her preferences and things like that. Like, I want to see her go out on a date or actually speak to a man. But the one time that they start talking to her about Ron, she's like, that's all you're gonna get. It's like, lady,
I don't like
a reality show that is hanging on by a thread. You better give all you can.
Hanging by a literal thread, and this is your literal job, is to come on here and divulge some information. I understand keeping things private, but take us on a date. Let us see what's going on. You said that you've talked to Ron a couple of times. Show us some vanilla text messages at least. I mean, something.
I know I'll always be mad at her for keeping the damn catfish thing a secret. I could have been watching her have these late night conversations, the weird text and all that. She kind of kept it on the low and played, her crazy victim card or whatever, which I do think she was a semi-victim of that. She got scammed, but at the same time, she was also cheating on her husband and, her sister wives and all that. So, I mean, she wasn't completely innocent in the whole thing, but I would have loved to see all that actually play out instead of her just randomly saying crap at dinner. Like, I think I'm just going to run away. Like, it freak everyone out.
This woman was just screaming and calling and crying out for help during that period in her life, and not a soul gave a damn. I mean, they were just in their own worlds. They could have cared less if that woman disappeared. They probably wouldn't have known for weeks.
They were confused. She would randomly say that crap at dinners. They were like, are we missing something? Let's go. And then when they'd ask her directly, why do you feel that way? I just want to run away. Just like, what is wrong with you?
You spent all that time to muster up all the courage to talk to your family about this situation, and that is all that you could give them, was that little bit.
She gives us nothing, and she intentionally gives us nothing, and she's still doing it even when the show is literally hanging on by a single thread, which is what Kody's hair is hanging on by. Like, the show is in the state of Kody's hair right now, and you really are gonna help at all. Like, it's crazy.
I will say, the one thing in this scene that did pique my interest a little bit, but just like in Sister Wives fashion, and the same thing that we're kind of complaining about right now, is, Meri gave us this tiny weird kernel, which would have just slipped my mind had I not been hearing all these rumors about Kody's little pill bag on Special Forces. Meri says things about, Kody just doesn't have a spark in his eye anymore, and he's not the same person that I used to know. And that it seems like something is going on with him that I don't know about because I don't know him, but he seems like he's covering something up. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, that's piquing my interest. I'm not going to go as far as to say Kody has like a major problem with this pill bag or whatever, but maybe there is something going on here behind the scenes that I would love to have a front seat to. That again, Meri, you are saying something right now. She's not saying nothing. She's saying something. She's not saying all of it. She's not saying why she thinks this. I would like to know why she thinks this.
Well, now I'm knowing from Christine's book that she had an issue with pills as well at one point. It's not out of the realm for anyone else on the show to be having an issue and not talk about it. I mean, they don't talk about the real things. This is all some crazy regurgitated facade, and it all could be an email. This whole show could be an email.
She gives us a little bit of worthy up at the end of this scene with the two of them. She lets us all know that we should all be respecting our time and ourselves, and don't let anyone come into your world who's draining you, and only people who fill your cup.
I guess. Whatever. So then we go over to Christine and David, who are pretty much talking about everybody leaving and David's new nickname. He says he's changed his name because Christine's like, I've changed my name so many times.
It looks like she got a piece of mail that still said Brown on it or something.
She put on her book cover Christine Brown Woolley, I think, and then also on her Instagram is Christine Brown Woolley. So you're still using the name Brown, girl,
right? I think she's more so upset probably that it's not hyphenated, but yeah, she is still Brown. That's I think what she's going by choice. She lets David know that she's been, feeling sad and missing her kids a little bit, and she recalled to us when she was talking to Jenelle lately, and Jenelle was mentioning that she's going to have all the grandkids over there and it's going to be so wonderful. And Christine is pretty upset. She says she needs to shut up right now. And that was the moment she wanted to slap her across the face. It's probably a good thing that they weren't in person because maybe she would have done so. I mean, Jenelle is at least giving us something. I don't care if it's faked or produced or whatever, but she's giving me some kind of storyline to sink my teeth into. So I'll take it, I guess. But I think she's seeing this a little bit wrong. I think let's consider where Jenelle is at in life right now and where Christine is at in life right now, and the choices that their kids that they share are going to make about who they want to be nearby. Because Christine is happy, she is in love, she is secure. Jenelle just lost a child, she doesn't have a partner. I know for myself, having parents who were divorced, I always felt a pull towards my parents when they are single, especially my mom. I wanted to be there more often. So I think that's more so what's going on with the kids moving around and stuff than Christine being a bad mom. That's just a terrible explanation. She should know better.
I mean, it's hard not to self-doubt, but I think, like you're saying, Janelle's in a different place than Christine. So I think she truly needs this more than Christine does. Also, David's got a lot of kids as well. So it's not like they don't have anybody around and she's just dwindling out on kids.
I think that's the kid's perspective is she's good. She's taken care of. She's busy. She has a life, not in a bad way, but like she's okay to be left for a while. Whereas I think they do all feel compelled to be around Jenelle.
But I do understand Christine's jealousy a little bit because even though David has a lot of kids himself and stuff, they're still not her biological kids. But, she does have this like wonderful life with David. She loves where she's at. She loves Utah. And it just gives the kids a reason to kind of go back and forth. And I think it'll work out in the end anyways. But then they talk about how her and Jenelle have this side business, which I guess I didn't really think about before, that they have a side business.
They've mentioned it a couple times, but they are real hush-hush about it. They don't talk about what it is or what they don't talk about really what they do or how it funds them at all. I don't know if it's big or small or whatever.
If y'all know what it is, Chick Chat, let us know because I don't remember. Yeah, apparently Janelle's been kind of stepping back from the business because she's been so busy in North Carolina with all these kids and with the farm.
Her land that's going nowhere.
Yeah, which isn't her fault because they have been trying to get a hold of the city and stuff, but it's just a bunch of paper trail and getting pushed back. But at least she's trying. Gosh, if it was Kody and Robyn trying to get a farm going, it would take 50 years for that thing to even break ground.
Well, how long has Coyote Pass been sitting around for? 6 years or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The only thing on that thing was a damn bench or picnic table.
Yeah. But they talk about how separating their business has been okay, but it's been a little bit of a complicated process for them too, because they're actually having to communicate and deal with more of the business because it's not just going along in the fashion it always has. They're having to separate things and figure stuff out. And Christine wants to be more in charge, I guess, of her aspect or her side of it or all of it, I guess, if Jenelle is leaving. And it seems like David is excited about that. He's like, oh, some competition. I'm like, are you stepping into this pseudo sister wives husband kind of role? Because it just felt weird to hear David.
I love a good cat fight.
Yeah, it was giving Kody for just a moment. Like, oh, you're motivated by your sister wife.
No, Kody would have been like, you got to respect each other and you got to, you got to get along with each other. You're a bad sister wife. He would have made it about.
If it was Robyn, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Sister Wives Closet for sure. When people didn't want to do Sister Wives Closet, that was the end. Yeah. Beginning of the end. Back over to Kody.
It's their last day in their home, and they have to get all of these things that you're going to see in the background of these pictures apparently out of the house today, allegedly, they claim. And instead of doing any of that, they decide to sit down and have yet another conversation about polygamy and does it work and what their experience was. This is nothing that we haven't heard before. I don't think that there was a whole lot of epiphanies going on here. Kody did blatantly call Christine's children, which I found was interesting. And his 20 years younger brother had to remind him how to be a family man more so than this plural marriage god. but okay. So that was interesting.
Yeah. Well, he's been calling them Christine's kids, Janelle's kids, everyone else's kids. When Robyn's kids, it's our kids. He's been doing that for years, especially in his confessional. So it's just so refreshing to hear somebody chime back.
Be like,
hello, your kids. They didn't just
children.
make these kids on their own. They're not asexual beings.
Yeah, and the pictures are coming up. I took some pictures of that, and you can just see the disgust and the disdain on his face. I know that he's acknowledging that he feels that way about Christine, but I just can't imagine that doesn't extend onto the kids in some way, even if it's unconsciously. I don't care how hard he's trying. You need to figure out your emotions about Christine if you're going to have a solid relationship.
And it shouldn't bleed out to the kids, but he's letting it. He's the reason that he's letting his own emotions play out on these kids. It's not Christine's fault or Janelle's fault. You can not get along with somebody and still love your kids if you have like a co-parenting relationship. My sister's got an ex that she can't stand, but she still loves her kids and wants to be around her kids. You got to be able to compartmentalize things. The kids are not their parents. They're totally new life forms.
Right.
Maybe Peyton.
Yeah. That's where Kody it seems is having a problem. He considers all these kids like an extension of this family and that family and whatever. And maybe that's kind of part of the ideals of plural marriage getting mixed in a little bit too. Like you said, he needs to find a way to compartmentalize and put all his kids in one compartment, and they need to be his kids, period, full stop, no questions. But get another bonus scene while he's talking to his brother, and Kody explains a little bit more of the process behind finding this home and selecting this home. It's not very exciting, so I won't go over it too much, but they were looking at this house for like 6 months while it was on the market. And they did actually get pre-approved for the price that it was beforehand when it first went on the market. But they decided because of retirement or savings, probably because Christine was suing him at the time for like 3 years worth of back child support. But whatever the case was, they decided not to move forward on the house, even though they were approved for it. And then after 6 months or so, the house dropped down considerably, which I did also see that happen when I was stalking the house on Zillow. So it came down
probably because of the soot.
Probably because of the soot. And it came down like 25%. So I guess Kody and Robyn were literally driving by this house every day saying their prayers. Robyn says, of course, that miracles happened and mountains moved in order for this home to happen for them. And I just love that they give us the stupid car in front of the house because duh.
Do you think that she was walking by that house in her witch hat and her little sage and stuff like she was on Coyote Pass as well?
I mean, isn't that what she's telling us right now? She said there were miracles that had to sort of open.
No, she's just out there with her little witch. I see us in this house. I see us in this house. I see us in this
and
house.
Kody says that at the same time that the price went down is when Robyn decided I can let go of Coyote Pass. So I'm sure she took all her little witchy hats and behaviors over to this new property because she was done with Coyote Pass as soon as they were ready to move forward on that house.
And took a nice deep breath of the soot.
A nice deep soot opulence.
When our last video premiered, somebody, I forget, I think it was Lisa in our live chat was saying that she thinks with the soot thing that maybe they're trying to get sick so then they can sue about soot. So they have another big check coming later on in life.
They are totally those kind of people. They are totally those kind of people.
Well, because if you think about it,
not put it past them.
If you think about it, why else stay in a place that you know it could be toxic when you won't even let your kid put his phone in his pocket?
Yeah. Well, when COVID happened, weren't they freaking out about all these respiratory issues and
everything? Not good for your body.
Not good for your body.
The lightning went through my whole body.
Oh my God. Yeah, so I mean, she kind of gives a lightning-like experience too when she's talking about this house, the miracles and mountains that had to move. It's just incredible how much they feel the destiny in their lives when it's so much in shambles. It's insane. How destiny can lead you to such tragic places.
Crazy.
So they also talk about, does Robyn like to be the only wife? And obviously Robyn is perpetually unhappy, so she doesn't really like that whole idea either. She's sticking with her story that she wanted to live out her religion, and Kody is sticking with his victimhood of, I'm never going to be enough for my shy, pretty wife. And then they go on to talk about Kody's dad.
And basically how he's the opposite of Kody. He started polygamy at the age Kody was at, and Kody is leaving it. But you know what? I could kind of see that being a thing, because I think it would be better to get into it older. If you're going to do it, do it when you're older and there's not like a ton of kids involved. Because if it's not going to work, at least it's just you and these wives and stuff. I think Kody's dad did it a better way than he did it.
I completely agree. And I think that's kind of the little glimmer of hope Kody's trying to give his brother here is maybe you can do it the way that dad did it, because I'm showing you a big failure and you've seen a lot of failures and you're saying you don't want to do this, but you also seems like this guy's been holding out, waiting for second and third wife. So I think he's trying to tell him, give it a whirl. Dad.
Does his brother have a first wife?
I guess I assumed he maybe just had one at least, but I don't know.
Kody, you're probably the last person anyone wants to hear from with polygamy at this point, but I mean, if he wants to do it, he'll do it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. Like he said, you're not the only example of polygamy that he's seen not work. He's just seen it not work enough to where it don't matter. It's probably not a good look. And honestly, all your kids don't want to do it either. And it's not just because of that either. That's not his left hand.
I should never tell in the pictures which hand is which.
Wife or not, it is what it is. I think that Kody's dad was older. He was probably a lot more of a leader too, because as we were talking about earlier, Kody's just not a leader. He's not one to have.
Sucks for leadership. Yeah.
He was getting ran by all his wives, which I'm not saying that there shouldn't be some kind of democracy in polygamy. I really don't know. But I do think if you're going to be the head of a household, you should also have that authority to be the head of a household. And when you got a wife like Robyn, who's pretty much the head of the household, and then you adopt all her ideas, and then you have to bring them all to these other, like, it was just a mess. It was a huge mess when she got brought in. And instead of trying to keep what he had and work on that and try to be a leader in that way, because according to Christine's book and everyone else, it wasn't perfect before. So you just brought somebody else in and made it even worse.
I think they did have a way of equilibrium when it was just the OG3 and Kody, that Kody was not a leader, but they had this equilibrium where they did all have these roles that worked for them. And then Robyn came in and she was just there and Kody just took care of her. And that continued on. And it's even reflected in the end of this episode when he talks about stirring up jealousy. And I think he's absolutely right. When he bought this house for Robyn, he just stirred up that jealousy that's always been there, because Robyn came in, she got her own house right away. She's always been safely kept somewhere in a nice house, and they've all been left to fend for themselves because he's always seen the OG3 as more independent. They were always in this, we're all equal to each other and we all have our own roles and we take care of ourselves and our family. And he never saw Robyn that way for whatever reason. And yes, he set that pattern from day one.
They cut down a little Charlie Brown Christmas tree. Everybody was excited about going to the farm to cut down a tree.
This is excited as Maddie's face is going to get when she's this pregnant with a 2-year-old.
Honestly, I was like, these trees are all huge. This isn't going to fit in your house. But then they just put it outside.
Yeah, I'm sorry. They're ugly.
You got a lot of trees to pick from, and y'all picked a huge, kind of sparse looking tree.
I was surprised by the tree that they chose. I was surprised out of all of this land that that's what you're picking, but okay. I was thinking even before the whole Meri and Kody back and forth story about the tree falling on the truck came up, I was thinking very random, but as soon as this tree fell down exactly where Maddie requested for it to fall, I was like, wow, so unlike Kody. It's just everything with the Browns, especially Kody involved, is such a chaotic nightmare, especially when Kody's cutting down a damn tree. And I just saw this tree come down so simply, exactly where they wanted it to go. And I was like, wow, this is so easy. And then, of course, we have to hear a story about Kody cutting down a tree and it falling on a truck, just like Meri told him it was going to do, and he didn't listen. And are we surprised?
They always gotta circle it back to him somehow. I kept thinking they were gonna put this tree in their house. So I was like, where the hell is that tree gonna fit? And then they put it outside. So I was like, you guys don't have a single tree outside of your front yard that you could have just decorated?
I think it was more so Jenelle loves a symbol, and you can tell when they do actually put it out outside. I think it was more so that they wanted to bring a piece of the property to their house, not just.
But I was expecting a little pine tree, and instead it was this big, ugly, regular tree. I don't know.
I know. The way that it turns out at the end of the episode, I was not impressed with that as well. But you throw some lights on anything and it does give it a little bit of Christmas spirit. I will give them that. They have a little bit of a conversation about plural marriage and does it work alongside Kody talking about his dad and reflecting on all of that. Maddie says that she read the Dargers book. I haven't read it, but we have seen the Dargers plenty of times. If you watch Sister Wives, they've interacted and had some episodes with them. And they seem to also really admire the relationship that Joe can have with his wife and with his kids. And even Jenelle chimes in and says that he does just a really excellent job. Christine brings up that Kody is very chaotic. She calls him the fireman. He's running around putting out fires, whereas Joe Darger was always more so the architect. And we saw that a lot in the episodes as well. I mean, even when they would all travel together, Joe would come with like a notebook full of plans of who's driving in what car and where they're staying and who's staying in what hotel rooms and who's staying in what beds when they get to the places. Like all of that was already figured out for everybody, and all their needs were met in that way so that they could really focus on each other. And Kody was just never good at that. He just let the chaos reign and then blamed polygamy for it. And I think he could have figured it out a little better. He also says that all of his wives were culturally homogenous thing. I think he gives a lot of credit to Joe for his wives having similar values, which is fine. But I don't think they had any more similar values than Kody's wives had. They all literally married into polygamy. That's a pretty big step and commitment towards your values.
You ain't gonna find many others. Like actual polygamy. Because I know there's a lot of poly couples, but a lot of it's not for religious reasons. I don't know their reason. So this is religious reasons. This wasn't the guy that Kody had to go to court for, right? I forget that guy's name. The one that he had to go to court and testify for.
No, I don't think so. I think that that's somebody else. They were involved with the Dargers in doing some legal stuff, but not because of something bad. They were trying to, him and the Dargers, they were the ones that they were working with on the legislation in Utah. I don't think it was him because he's probably not going to be like showing his face at the legislators if he's
something Anderson or something. I remember talking about this a while back. Just remind me in the comments if you guys remember. But anyways.
But this is the tree that we were discussing. Jenelle loves a symbol, especially a symbol of her land when it's been so difficult to get her land together this year. Yeah. And then we have the final scene at the house. I keep thinking that all these scenes are going to be the final scene at the house, but hopefully this is the last time that we ever see all these dark, ugly walls. They have a little bit more opulent of a space at this new home. So they say a little thankful, grateful prayer for all of their experiences. Kody does some reflecting.
Without a mustache.
Yeah. And I just thought that this was so dumb, but so like Robyn to say, I did my own goodbye because this is the last place we were a family.
And where was TLC for that? I mean, I would have loved to see Robyn walk around this house and sob and do her little witch hat thing and cry about the
last time we got a good vulnerable Robyn scene was when she was crying on the bathroom floor right before Christmas. And it's like, why couldn't we get one final bathroom floor cry scene? I would like to see her move on and be happy after she leaves this home. So give me one final hurrah.
Honestly, she's barely been crying since before Garrison passed.
I know.
It's been dry tears. This is like the closest we've come about her talking about her goodbye. I mean, she's got these little mini sobbins just trained. Brianna, when he asked her, like, are you sad? She's like, I don't know how I feel. Like, it's what a Robyn response. And then I noticed that Aurora, they've been showing her in these group huddles, but this girl is stand-in for Aurora because they're not actually showing Aurora's face. It's like they got some stand-in girl. And it's like this the last episode too in the other house where they showed them all group huddle and all that. I'm like, is somebody paying someone to stand in for Aurora? Because we don't hear from her. We don't hear her voice. We just see scenes like this. So we know she's there. But is it her?
I like where you're going with this. I mean, we always see her. It could be an actor, but why?
Especially when the next episode is centered around her and her new boyfriend.
Yeah, I mean, that will definitely be her for sure. Speaking of that next episode, we are going to see her boyfriend come over. I don't know how interested I am in that, but I am interested in seeing this family move on in some capacity. So we'll see how that goes. David's going to suggest to Jenelle to join Farmers Only, which I think the whole world has been wanting to suggest to Jenelle. So we'll see how she takes it. My guess is probably not well. Jen and Meri are going to have a little bit of a pep talk amongst each other about Coyote Pass, and Jen's going to really pump Meri up to say some things that I'm sure she will never dream of saying to his face, but will be fun for us to watch.
Gotcha. Anyways, well, thank you for joining us, Chick Chat. Another great episode, not really, of Sister Wives, but we will see you guys next week. And remember to like, subscribe, reduce, reuse, recycle, Rihanna, and goodbye.
Goodbye.